As you've seen so far, arrays can be an extremely powerful way to store a collection of data. We can use arrays to group information that we might otherwise store in variables. We can store integers, floats, strings, and booleans. We can even store another array inside the first array, but let's save that for the next video. In this video, we'll take a look at some of the inner workings of PHP arrays so that you can get the most from your data. In particular, we'll dig into some of the details on how keys work and what types of values you can use. Let's start out by taking a closer look at 4 noteworthy aspects of array keys.
First, array keys are case-sensitive, so if we tried to use the lowercase Alina, we get an error instead of the value because the lowercase key Alina does not exist. This also means that if I set Alina in lowercase equal to pistachio, the capitalized and lowercase Alina will be treated as 2 separate elements. This brings us to the second noteworthy aspect that is tied closely to the first. Keys must be unique or they will be overwritten. For example, if I want to add a second Dave to this list and try to set a new element with the key of Dave, and assign the value cookie dough, a second Dave element is not added. Instead, it overrides the element that already has a key of Dave. Just like in real life, when you're talking about 2 people with the same name, you need some other way to keep track of who you're talking about. Sometimes we use a nickname or a last name. If I were to leave one as Dave and change the other to David, that would be 2 separate elements. Or I could add the full name, Dave McFarland and Dave Thomas. This also would be 2 separate keys, and therefore separate elements. Next, keys may be a string or an integer. Strings that contain only numbers will be converted or cast as an integer. Float values, numbers including decimals, will be truncated and cast to an integer. And Boolean values will be cast to the integer 1 for true and 0 for false. Let's comment out this var dump and add a new array. We'll name this keys, and we'll use it to demonstrate some typecasting. We'll set this to an array. The first element will have a key of the integer 1, double arrow, a value of A, and the second element will have the string 1, double arrow, the value of B, the float 1.5, double arrow, the value of C, and the Boolean true, double arrow, and the value of D. Now let's var dump this array. Because all the keys in this example are cast to 1, the value will be overwritten on every new element, and the last assigned value D is the only element left over. Finally, you can mix integers and strings for your array keys. I can add a new element to my ice cream. I won't specify a key, but I'll add the value vanilla. PHP adds vanilla to the next available integer for the key. In the case of our ice cream array, all the previous keys are strings, so the first available integer is 0. Array values, on the other hand, don't have as many rules as keys. We don't reference elements by their values, so more than one element may have the same value. For example, when I set the favorite ice cream of Dave McFarland and Dave Thomas, both to cookies and cream, both elements will have the same ice cream value. Also, array values can hold any type of variable, including floats and booleans, exactly as they would be stored in any other variable. Just like the array keys, each value may have a separate variable type. When I add the element Andrew, and I set that equal to true, when I run my script, I see that the value for Andrew is actually stored as the boolean true. Unlike keys, array values may also contain another array. This will give us what is known as a multidimensional array. Let's take a little break before we jump into multidimensional arrays in the next video.